Good Morning Night Vale is brought to you by The Disappearances of Lydia Fontaine, a new independently produced and crowdfunded 10-episode original audio drama. Set in a deceptively familiar world of electronic surveillance and machine-mediated communication, The Disappearances of Lydia Fontaine follows Lydia Ryan and her friends, lovelorn Ethan and wannabe internet sensation Dee, as they struggle to unravel the mystery of her mother's disappearance. Escape the sinister Fontaine family, and survive the feud over her grandfather's supernatural legacy. It weaves bitter family drama and high-stakes intrigue with fantasy and cyberpunk elements to create a surreal mystery about secrets and grudges, old books, big data, and the promise of infinite knowledge. And do not forget the talking birds. It's a full-cast production with original music and a bespoke soundscape presented through a series of found-footage-style surveillance recordings. And it's important to note, this show was made entirely without generative AI. Even the computers are voiced by human actors. Episodes are free, and you can start listening right now with the Season 1 finale due to come out on August 16th. For more information, go to lydiadisappears.com. and find The Disappearances of Lydia Fontaine wherever you get your podcasts and start listening from the beginning.
Insurance isn't one size fits all, and shopping for it shouldn't feel like squeezing into something that just doesn't fit. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they show you options that fit your budget. Enough hunting for discounts, trying to calculate rates, and tinkering with coverages. Maybe you're picking out your very first policy, or maybe you're just looking for something that works better for you and your family. Either way, they make it simple to see your options. No guesswork, no surprises. Ready to see how easy and fun shopping for car insurance can be? Visit Progressive.com and give the Name Your Price tool a try. Take the stress out of shopping and find coverage that fits your life, on your terms. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
I am the Faceless Old Woman
who secretly lives in your home.
Good morning, Night Vale.
My name is Meg, and I have a face.
My name is Symphony, and baby, she's serving face.
My name is Hal, and I'm desperate to save face. And we're here as cast members of Welcome to Night Vale, listening to Welcome to Night Vale and talking about it. Why? Because you demand it, and we demand nothing but the best from ourselves. We are recording this. It's a dawn of a new month, Thursday, August the 1st, 2024. You have our Flying Spaghetti Monster.
It's the first of the month. Get up, wake up.
So much has happened since we last convened. A brief intermission of our 5-part series about the missing flight. We bring you a brand new story from the Faceless Old Woman live in LA at Largo. So time is a flat circle, guys.
Let's talk about it. We have a little break from our series here, our military or whatever, the Alpha, Beta, Charlie business.
Yeah.
And we are going solo dolo with the Faceless Old Woman who lives in your home. And, bruv, she's scary. Babes, she's real scary.
Bruv. Oh, no.
I will say that this episode came out on March 15th of 2020.
Yeah, I noticed.
So we're there. We did it, guys.
Wow.
We're in world. In the Pando.
Wait, let's reflect back for 1 second where we were when this episode came out. I had just been sent home a week before. Well, we all had technically. We had been sent home from the beginning of a tour. We had started the dreaded 2020 tour, and we had gotten sent home, and things were wackadoo. I got to JFK in 20 minutes, less than 15 minutes from Brooklyn, and there was nobody in the airport because I stayed on a couple days. I was like, yeah, I'll just let this kind of chill out a little bit and then I'll go home. Cecil and I watched that Body Snatchers movie. Attack of the Body Snatchers, I think it's called. And we were making TikToks, and it was all jokes and stuff. And then I got on the plane, and there was like 6 people on the plane. And I was like, oh, spooky, scary. And I didn't have any toilet paper. So
I'm just looking at my calendar.
So am I.
Are you really?
For this time. All right. So on the 12th of March 2020, we did a show in Northampton, Massachusetts. That was the day we canceled the tour.
Right.
We continued on to do the show in Portsmouth. I don't know exactly what the thinking was there, but we did. I guess we didn't want to cancel on too short a notice. This was the before times when no one canceled for any fucking reason whatsoever. And we were so freaked out to cancel a show. So we did. We did the Portsmouth show on the 13th. The 14th, we drove down to JFK and I dropped people off in New York City. And the 15th, we were supposed to be on our way to Durham to do our Durham show on the 16th, but that didn't happen.
Sad face.
So, that was that. So that day, I guess that was the first day of the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
That was my last time on tour ever.
Oh.
Yeah. I had a meeting that Tuesday, the 10th, that I went to, and I just remember sanitizing a lot and keeping distance from people. We weren't really sure what was going on yet. Mm-hmm. I was supposed to be in Philadelphia that weekend, so I would have been flying back from Philadelphia that Sunday, but canceled the flight on the 11th. It was the first day that you could cancel flights and get all your money back. They weren't going to do anything about it. They weren't going to be penalized. And it was the day before I went into the office for the last time as a full-time office person. And then after that, it was work at home. I think the county closed on the 17th.
Yeah.
That was when the safer at home stuff started. And I was one of 10 people in the office the day I went in, and I did not want to be there. And I, for those who don't know, I produce and direct a live trivia game within an app. That's what I do for a living when I'm not, starring and everything. And the host we had scheduled, I saw on their Instagram that they had been out at dinner with friends. And I called my manager. I was like, we can't have hosts anymore. We can't, I can't risk it until further notice. We're going to have to figure this out. So I hosted a trivia game off camera on a microphone, which is now how I host it 3 days a week.
Oh, wow.
So we had to figure out in less than 24 hours how I could do it by myself, running everything, which involves 3 different devices and 4 different screens I'm looking at the same time. But yeah, everything changed. And I had no idea what was going on then. I didn't want to cancel my flight. But my father was like, maybe you should stay, because he wasn't supposed to be there. And he had an event he was supposed to be at that weekend that got canceled. He was like, I don't know if it's safe. I was like, oh, this is overblown. Well, and now he looks at me weird when I mask in large public places. So, how the shoe has moved feet.
How the turntables have,
And the Faceless Old Woman episode was dropped onto the Night Vale feed.
Yeah.
And that's what happened that day. This episode was recorded on April 27th of 2019. So it's firmly in the before land.
Right.
And I believe they put this out at this time because the Faceless Old Woman book was to come out the next week. Mm-hmm. So this was sort of in anticipation of that. We did this show at the Largo, and this was a tri-bill. So we had an Alice live show that we did a reading from. We had Within the Wires live show that they did a reading from, and they had a Faceless Old Woman, and it was one night on one bill at the Largo in Los Angeles. And it was a very good show. I sold merchandise for it, and it was fun and nice and lovely. And neat and normal. And and Mara crushed it. She did a great job. I think she wasn't feeling well.
Yeah.
I think she had been sick the week before. And, but she was a pro, and this was before we stayed home when we were sick. So she came and she did it. She did great. And it was a nice time.
Was I there for this show? I think I only did Largo with you once.
Well,
I was not in this show. I produced this show, but I was not in it.
Unless you were there for like, you probably, I don't think you, because I remember like a lot of the pictures from the show.
Oh yeah, then I wasn't. Yeah, I would have been in pictures, so I was not.
Yeah.
I remember, the one thing I do remember about doing Night Vale at Largo, because I did, for those who don't know, I did Thrilling Adventure Hour there every month for 5 years. So I'm intimately familiar, but also this, I know what the setup is when we're in there and like who's in which dressing room. And to see that switched, I was like, wait, this can't be right. I go in that, I know exactly the chair I sit in when I'm not doing stuff. Like it was very weird. I felt very off balance there doing a different show. It was a very odd experience from that perspective, for whatever weird, like I just had it set in my head. This is how Largo does.
Yeah.
This is how you do the Largo.
Yeah, it would be weird for me, like if the Neo-Futurist Theater, which is, they're at a different theater now, but if I was to do like another show at the Crane Theater, I'd be like, what is this? Feels weird. I wouldn't like, would not feel right.
Yes.
That's like when we went, Cecil and I, when we had a day off in London, and we went to see the drag queen Sasha Velour do a show called Night Gowns, but we had performed there like the year before. So it was weird being it's weird being in the audience when you're like, oh, I know what backstage looks like.
Right.
You know? So it's exciting to hear Mara. Well, obviously Mara is a very talented artist, but it's really exciting to hear the Faceless Old Woman and a single story from a single character, or like an episode from a single character. And we don't usually post live shows within
on the main feed. Yeah, this episode is given a number and a title. Normally when we do live shows, they're given either a bonus or they're like a separate thing, but they're not their own episode, which this one is, which I think is kind of cool. And yeah, I think it's cool. It was a live show not starring Cecil, which was something that Joseph and Jeffrey wanted to try out. This was sort of back when Cecil was like kind of waffling about wanting to continue touring. So they were like, well, let's see what we can write. See what works.
It's a lovely show. Yeah. It's really fun. And I think Mara is also very compelling as a actor and and the Faceless Old Woman as a character. Of course you want to know more about her. And I think a lot of people think that is one of the favorite of the books. I've heard that from many people. Actually, Meg, I think you're one of them who I think that's one of...
Yeah, it's my favorite of the books for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's the best one.
Yeah. And it's a character that I think a lot of people find interesting, spooky, weird, because she is. I mean, it goes between being terrifying, some of the things she does, to funny in an off-putting sort of way. And then also I don't know, I always feel this tenderness. I don't know if that's the right word for her. Like even though she's the one who's like sticking stuff in people's ears and scrawling stuff on your back or whatever, I don't know. I have an affinity for her.
Yeah, I like her. She's likable. I think she's likable. Yeah. She's horrifying and does very bad things to people, but she does bad things to people that aren't me specifically, except for the times when it is directed at you. Because I guess it's always like the way that it's phrased, it's sort of like she's talking directly to us. But I think she's likable. And she definitely comes across likable in the book. My gosh, it's a very compelling character. Listening to this episode made me want to go back and reread the book, which I think I will, because I haven't read it since 2020. And when I read it, it was like I was reading it because I wanted to just like read it so quickly so I could talk to Joseph about it. And I did read it twice because I read it like when it was in drafty form. And then I read it when it, like, I think right before it came out, I read it again when we got the arc. But yeah, I think I'm going to go for a third. I really do love this book. If you haven't read it, go for it. And if you have read it and want to read it again and talk to me about it, we can do a little book club.
Book club
about it.
Night Vale Book Club.
Book club with Meg.
This is really well written as a stage piece too. You can see how it develops because it gives her, I mean, there's just a lot of gifts for her as a performer, including like just pick out people in the audience. Somebody somebody's supposed to be Tony, somebody's going to be Addie, somebody's going to be Morgan. You're going to pick them out, and it gets a laugh every single time. And I think it also generates excitement in the audience because you either really want or really don't want to be the person who gets a little attention thrown their way, which is always a fun dynamic. And you can tell how into it the crowd is.
Yeah.
Like they're definitely there with it. And it is the kind of piece that makes you sit forward, whether it's like funny stuff or the really creepy realization that these are 3 dead people, like because she exists across all points in time simultaneously. All 3 of these people are there at once, and she's like watching them, but they're all gone, and just very super creepy, but in a really interesting way.
Yeah, it gives me the same vibes as like The Haunting of Hill House, I think. Did you see that?
Yeah.
It gives me that because she's like through time, but she has a better understanding, even though she's not bothered by her jumping through time sort of thing or being able to see things. It seems more smooth, you know? One thing I did want to note before I forget about it, because of course this is a food podcast first and foremost.
Yes, food podcast.
When she's talking about the person's tongue that got cut off at Applebee's, what they ate at Applebee's.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if they served you tongue, because Applebee's, of course, does not serve neither apples nor bees.
Right. Very disappointing.
Discuss.
Great joke.
Great joke. Great joke.
Oh, speaking of, this is a food podcast. Hal, you had something that was breaking right before we started.
Oh, yeah.
Recording that you were like, there's a restaurant I need to tell you about.
Oh, yeah. In St. Charles, Illinois, there's a restaurant I think it's called Colonial. It was like the Colonial Dairy.
Yeah.
So it's known for ice cream, but I went there for breakfast. You know Colonial, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever had their French toast?
No.
I show up for breakfast. I go on a run. I'm hungry.
Yeah.
So I burned off some calories. I'm going to treat myself to pancakes. That was what I had in my head. And I asked the guy, the server, I said, do you recommend the pancakes? He was like, nah.
I love an honest server.
I was like, oh, really? What? Please explain. He was like, it's nothing against the pancakes here. I don't like the pancakes at any restaurant because I feel like that's something I can make at home. I'd rather, if I'm going out, have something that I don't make at home as much. I was like,
that's fair.
I'm thinking I want something made primarily out of carbs that I put something sweet on and eat. So I was like, between the French toast and the waffle and the pancakes, what do you recommend? He said French toast. Didn't even hesitate. He said, we have regular French toast, then we have a cinnamon swirl French toast with the icing on it. Ooh. Now, normally I would do that, but I want to put this place to the test first. I was like, bring me your regular French. I was like, I'll take a regular French toast. Came with cinnamon butter. Ooh. And it was the best restaurant French toast I've ever had. And I will tell you why, because I know you're curious.
I am.
A lot of the rookie mistake that a number of restaurants make is they take that bread and they put it in the egg wash like it's allergic to eggs. Like you put it in, barely get any egg on it, and then you're eating fried bread.
No.
You're eating basically toasted little eggs.
Custardy.
This had custardy middle. The cinnamon.
Yeah.
The cinnamon butter was perfect on it.
Oh.
And then the syrup, so good. And I had ice cream there the next night, because that's what they're known for. And their ice cream was fantastic.
That's making my mouth water right now. There's one thing I forgot to tell you, Hal, and I am ashamed of this, and I'm going to admit it today on the pod. Are you ready?
Yeah.
You told me you were going to be in St. Charles, and I'm an idiot and did not tell you to go to Salerno's.
Where is that, downtown?
Salerno's on the Fox. It's pizza. Yeah. It's on the Fox River. It's so good. And I'm like, gosh dang it.
Uh-huh.
It was real. I feel very bad. So please forgive me.
Do you know Kimmer's ice cream?
Mm-mm.
Kimmer's ice cream is this ice cream. I have ice cream there that same night that I had the French toast in the morning. I walk in and they have sometimes you go into a place and you have like a signed piece of memorabilia from someone who had been there, somebody famous.
Yeah.
I'll give you each one guess in the interest of brevity who the celebrity was who was on the wall. I do not think you'll guess it. Symphony, who do you think it was?
I'm going to guess like some local, like food, like Annabelle Val or somebody, like some local, like news person.
Okay. Meg?
Rahm Emanuel.
Those are both very good Chicago guesses, but written on a shirt where he had written so many choices. Two Kimmers, so many choices. Alec Baldwin. Yeah. Proudly framed. Yeah. It's just you're gritting your teeth, Meg. It's
true. Well, yeah. So many choices for which armorer to hire for your film. One with training and a license? No.
Yeah. Ooh, she said, shots fired.
So anyway. I was a rude little pig and I had ice cream. I had a brownie sundae and it was great.
Nothing wrong with that, Hal.
I bet that's good.
It was real good.
I bet that's good.
Very good ice cream. I guess, I mean, I don't wonder at a certain point if you think about taking it down, but then you're concerned, what if he comes back?
Alec Baldwin? And then he'll be like, why the hell am I not still up?
Yeah.
I don't.
Tough titty, Alec.
Yeah. I don't understand why I'm not still up here.
Yeah, maybe you could have lived better. You could have made better choices of the so many choices that there are in this life.
She said, grow up, Alec Baldwin.
Yeah. So
I don't really have anything against Alec Baldwin, other than, just the general.
Yeah. Him and his wife, Ilaria.
He's not like really high. Ilaria.
How you say?
She's just a white lady.
How you say Baldwin?
Yoga.
How you say cucumber?
Cucumber? You're from Boston, Ilaria. Hillary. Anyway.
Just choices again.
Oh.
Speaking of choices,
yes,
she made some good ones as an actor. I think some of the scariest shit that especially towards the end, it just got spookier and spookier. And because there was no weather, I think we didn't have any sort of relief. Sometimes there's like tension built and like whatever. And then you have a little bit of a break because of the weather. This episode, not so much. It was very much like spooky, funny, spooky, funny, spooky, funny. Then it was like spooky, 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 spooky. That's what it sounded like to me.
Like body horror, disturbing image.
Dude.
Body horror, disturbing image.
Her being like, oh, yeah, and then you'll see me face close to your face. Me scuttling up the wall. Hair hanging in the face, me coming up out of the bathtub behind you in the mirror. Bitch, I would fucking scream and burn down my house. No. All of those things I was like, no.
Yeah, very creepy.
It's also why I love horror.
Well, Joseph and Jeffrey, they described this as the most disturbing thing when they introduced this. Their words to our audience was, "This is the most disturbing thing we have written."
Yeah.
So,
is it because of how much Jonathan Franzen is in it?
And how he never dies.
Yes.
Jonathan Franzen. Oh, the thing about the journal. Okay.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious.
That's literally me. Do you guys write in a journal?
No.
If you could see the withering look that Meg just gave me about, every time I've gotten a journal, I will start, just like you do. You'll start and you'll be like, "Dear diary, today was great. Anyways, see you later. Bye." And I don't have the stick to itness for that. And one of my therapists once was like, "Have you ever thought about journaling?" And I said, that's not like my ministry, I'm not really a writer. And they're like, "Really? I would think you would be more inclined to enjoy that because of your artistic nature." And I said, "I'm not that kind of artist, baby."
I recognize that the therapeutic process involves many people that you meet with over your life, but the fact that you mentioned stick-to-itiveness and then said my therapists is an unintentionally great joke. Or intentionally great joke. I just didn't want to let it slide past.
No, I've only had a couple in my life, right. and they've all been surrounded like at different points in my life. So it's not like I go through therapists like water.
For sure.
I'm not like, because first of all, I don't want to tell anybody my story that many times.
Can you just talk to the last person? Get one of their tapes.
I can barely date people because I don't want to explain myself. Like, it's like that's why I keep going back to that guy because he knows my shit already. I'm not trying to do all this and be like, let me tell you everything about myself so you can, oh God, that's so exhausting.
Sure is.
Again, stick to itness.
I ghosted my last therapist until they said, just let me know when you want to meet again. Because I would have it coming up and be like,
yeah,
this can be expensive. And I don't feel like doing it right now. And I don't know what, like, I felt like I was on the treadmill a little bit. And so I just kept canceling. Like within the window. And then eventually it's like, I feel like I'm just going to take you off the calendar and let me know if you need anything.
Did you ever go back?
I was like, no, a lot of, like, we met for a couple of years before the pandemic, and there was a lot of like phone and Zoom during the pandemic. And it was just, and I probably need a therapist to talk about this, but I don't think it was a good fit.
No, that's real.
I think maybe I needed something different than I was getting, even though I did make strides, but I also didn't want to say anything because I was concerned I would insult her. So I ghosted her. That'll be something for the next therapist to deal with.
I'm like, that's actually interesting.
Yeah, isn't it? Should I lay down?
Let's talk more about that.
Down either. I want to lay down.
We'll take this offline.
Do either of you ever lay down?
No.
In therapy? You sit in two chairs, right?
I did when I had a herniated disc.
Oh, sure. But that's different. It's not like you're not like on a chaise lounge.
When I was bedridden.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was bedridden, Zoom and therapying. That was, I think, my first session.
Wow.
I'm very much like, if I lay down, I'm like one of those doll babies that if you lay them down, they're going to go to sleep.
The eyes closed.
Yeah, the eyes closed.
Back your eyes closed.
You lean back, you're like, oh. So I need to sit up. You know what I mean? If I'm going to be alert and talking. So it is what it is. Plus, I'm a little fidgety. I need to like putter around. I'm just pacing back and forth like, and another thing.
I used to have to hate when I would have to pay for a babysitter so that I could have therapy. So it was like double paying.
Yeah.
I was like, this sucks. Fuck this. I could just get tougher, I guess. My therapist, she went on maternity leave. And so I was like, what a great time to be done with this. And then I was like, that's got to really suck to be pregnant. And she's like specialized in postpartum mood disorders. And I was like, it's got to really suck to be pregnant and just be listening to this all day of people like spilling their postpartum crazy at you.
Yeah.
So anyway, therapy. Write to us if you have a good therapy experience.
Yeah, seriously. Should we go right into the fan zone?
I'll just solve all my problems the way I normally solve them, with food. Up next, the FanZone Calzone. I love cheese.
And cheese loves you, and that's why it's a perfect relationship. No notes.
Yep.
That's right.
Stay right there. Good Morning Night Vale will return after a brief break.
Lately, I've been all over the place. Between touring, dog sitting, and traveling, my routine has become non-existent. Now that my travel schedule has slowed down, I need to get back to eating real food and not just grabbing what I can when I can. And Factor is making that easier for me. Factor meals are ready in 2 minutes and require little to no prep and no cleanup. So even on the days when my schedule is completely out of whack, eating well is still achievable. Like today, I had 3 meetings and a client. By the time I was done, I was hungry and I just needed to eat. So I grabbed the Beurre Blanc filet mignon with Parmesan risotto and it was delicious. I was amazed at how tender it was and how flavorful the risotto was, and saved me from having to pick something up quick. And in 2 minutes, I had something healthy, fresh, and delicious. So if you like fast, easy, and delicious meals, I think you would like Factor meals too. Let's eat real. Head to factormeals.com/GMNV50 OFF and use code GMNV50OFF to get 50% off and one free breakfast item per box for 1 year, while supplies last until 10/31/2026. That's code GMNV50OFF at factormeals.com. GMNV50OFF at factormeals.com. See website for more details.
First up in the Calzone, we have Jerry. Jerry writes, "Good morning, Night Vale. As per Hal's prompt from November 17th episode, I can confirm that this email is being written by an actual human and not a person made out of cake. Then again, that's exactly what a person made out of cake would say. Recently, I ended up in the hospital. Oh, whoa, that's a term. I recently ended up in the hospital with a bout of appendicitis. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're okay. Would a cake person have that problem?
Yes.
I'm okay now. Some strangers put me to sleep, stabbed me with my consent, and cut out a non-vital organ. In the lead up to the surgery, though, I managed to finish all 3 Night Vale novels. Welcome to Night Vale, It Devours, and The Faceless Old Woman. And everyone talking about the psychological horror of the love and horror trilogy reminded me of how stunned I felt with every plot twist in the Faceless Old Woman novel. I was in the hospital for 3 full days and blazed through one novel each day. If any of you are into that kind of creepy, impending dread kind of horror that Night Vale delves into with some frequency and which Faceless Old Woman seems to border, I highly recommend the Southern Reach trilogy by Jeff Vandermeer, as well as the video game Control, which was inspired by that series, as they also add to the great element of the unknowable mystery. I mostly wanted to write to mention one of the opening lines from It Devours, which gave me unintended motivation to make it out of the hospital during my stay. See attached picture for my take on the quote. Thank you all for making Night Vale such an entertaining show, and thanks to Joseph and Jeffrey for writing 3 excellent novels. Canadianly yours from Ottawa, Jerry, he, him. P.S. Colon hydrotherapy, that's it. That's the tweet. God damn it, Jerry.
I brought it up when we had dinner together.
I ignored you when you said that.
Yeah, but you heard it.
We were in the Art Institute.
You saying you ignored it means you heard it.
I did hear it, but I chose to ignore it. You son of a bitch.
That's fair. You're welcome. And thank you, Jerry the Cake Guy, for writing in. Alan writes, "Hi, I'm slowly making my way through these episodes with Good Morning, currently right after the first novel was released, so 76. Anyway, I know that a long while ago you were talking about Faceless Old Woman art. Well, speaking of that and the novels, it made me think of something. I pre-ordered the Faceless Old Woman Who Lives in Your Home novel, and because of that, I got a signed print as part of that from Jeffrey and Joseph. My house burned down a few months ago, and against all odds, it survived. Not even the slightest bit damaged.
Damn.
What made the situation weirder was that I hadn't gotten around to putting it on my wall because space. So it was still in the extremely flammable cardboard sleeve it had been shipped in, doused in gasoline. Other prints of other things that had been hung and framed all went up in flames nearly instantly. I am sorry for those losses. So either this is a weird lesson in procrastination, or maybe the Faceless Old Woman herself was protection enough that even fire feared her nature. Unfortunately, still have yet to read the book, and now I need to get another copy. Oops, but at least that's replaceable. There you go. Anyway, thank you for making my day during this tough time for me. You're all a delight and help lift my mood. Much thanks, Alan." Oh, what a story. Thank you, Alan, for sharing.
Al, yeah, this was from 2022 that you wrote us in, Alan. So I hope that things worked out for you. I also just responded to this email asking if you wanted a copy of Faceless Old Woman. If you hadn't read it yet, I will happily send you one. So if you're still out there, Alan, and you're still missing a copy of this book, I'm very much happy to send one to you. And I hope that you are back in business and everything is back to normal for you in your life. But yeah, respond to that email if you want. Cool. Jeanette writes to us, hello, I am loving binging Good Morning Night Vale. The original podcast as well as your new one have gotten me through a very long commute to and from work every day, as well as Alice Isn't Dead, which I like to listen to when I work nights as I drive the endless hour home in the dark. I'm currently listening to the Faceless Old Woman episode, and I had a thought regarding the fact that she has no face. As previously mentioned when you talked about the man in the tan jacket, is it that he has powers so you can't remember him, or he's just so unremarkable that no one can pin him down? And I think that applies to the Faceless Old Woman as well. We live in a world that is obsessed with youth, and there is unfortunately a level of indifference that comes with being older in America. Is it that she is really faceless, or just that because of her age and situation, no one pays attention to her? There are many episodes where she gets frustrated that you doesn't see her or notices the things she's doing in your house. Do we not notice her because she's truly a figure with no corporeal attributes, or that the collective we just have a tendency to ignore people of a certain age? Just a thought that's been mulling around in my mind for a while. Can't wait to try to catch a live show soon and meet you all in person. It's an interesting point that maybe the facelessness is a metaphor for the erasure of the elderly,
For sure.
especially the erasure of elderly women.
Yeah.
I kind of look forward to it a little bit.
Oh, being not being perceived.
That's me, not liking to be perceived. So just can't wait to get old and not hot anymore. And then I'll just be sailing right through.
I know. I feel like I'm going to be Tinkerbell. If people don't pay attention to me, I'll die. Just kidding.
Anyway, thank you all so very much for listening. The next episode that we're going to be talking about with you is called Charlie. We get back into our 5-episode arc. And until then, good morning, Night Vale. Good morning.
Good Morning Night Vale is a Night Vale Presents production. It is hosted by Symphony Sanders, Meg Bashwiner, and Hal Lublin. It is edited by Felicia Dominguez and mixed by Vincent Cacchione. It is produced by Meg Bashwiner. Theme music by Disparition. Email us at info@goodmorningnightVale.com to share your theories and ask questions, or to secretly live in our home. This show is powered by our patrons like Belinda Matthey, Balthazar, Bree Palmer, Caitlin Llewellyn, and Chris Brose. If you are interested in supporting this show in exchange for lots of fun, exclusive, hyper cool kid content, check us out at patreon.com/goodmorningnightVale. For more info on this show, go to goodmorningnightVale.com. Special thanks to Joella Knapp, Jeffrey Craner, and Joseph Fick. Calzone ingredient of the week is Parmesan cheese. Just the regular kind, not the dried skin kind. We think.